May 25th. So I'll call the meeting to order. Our first piece of business is approving the minutes of last month's meeting held on April 27th. I get a motion to approve the minutes. Thank you, Jackie. Second by Denise. Any edits, changes, additions, subtractions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
This is Mark. I believe I was in attendance at that meeting by phone. The minutes say I was excused. I might have been late, but I'm pretty sure I was there.
He was.
Oh, yeah, right.
We'll do it. All right, we'll make that change. Thank you, Mark. It was kind of Mark reading the minutes anyway. Next item on the agenda is recognition award.
Yes, we're gonna squeeze in. You're right here. You're. This is my Ukrainian brother, Eugene Goikman, also known as Gino, and sometimes when he and I get into heated arguments, other things.
Yes.
Right? So we're celebrating Gene's 30th year here with CDTA. 30 years. Before coming to the United States, actually Gene has spent his whole life in transportation. He was a bus operator, a transportation supervisor, a management staff person in Ukraine. He came to this country in 1991. Am I right about that?
Yes.
1991, came to work for us in 1992. So Ukraine's loss was our gain. And Gene really has done the gamut in transportation. Started off in Star, moved over to fixed route, but really has made his mark in supervision. And really, in my opinion, really made his mark in Central Communications. He was the voice of CDTA Communications in the morning for a long, long time. He spent the last year or two on the road. I keep trying to get him back into Central Communications. He says maybe. I say please. He says maybe. I say please. He says stop asking. But he really was a ready-made package for us. Brought years of experience to CDTA and has used it, I think, to have a positive impact on the organization. Always extremely prepared, always extremely energetic, and you can tell, he looks the part. He's a trusted confidant to a lot of people in the transportation department who lean on him for, what he knows about the system. And if we had more Genos, we'd be a better place. In his spare time, he and his wife like to travel. Gene does a lot of stuff. I mean, world travel. Gene, where you been? Where's that? World travel, does downhill skiing, sometimes day trips. New York City, likes to see plays. I can't keep up with him. I can't keep up with where he's going, where he's going. I used to call him the international jet setter. He's told me to stop that. But I keep an eye on his hair. His wife likes it cut a certain way. So if he gets a little shabby, I'll let Gino know. But he really is a rock in our supervision unit. A valuable guy, and I'm just so appreciative that he spent 30 years here with us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bear with us. Take the sticky note off.
Okay.
You learn, Gino, just follow orders.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you. Okay.
Gene has been joking. He wants to know when I'm going to retire because he says he's going to retire the next day, and I said, don't slip out before me.
We'll move on to committee reports, and I'll kick things off at the Board Operations Committee meeting that was held on May 11th. We reviewed the committee agendas and a May meeting agenda that we'll be talking about today. We had an interesting discussion about balancing service demands with employee availability and how articulated buses during peak travel times may help us meet customer demand. This would also reduce the number of operators needed, ease the strain on headcounts and operator availability. With increases in universal access accounts, especially the school districts, it may be beneficial to add more articulated buses to our fleet. Staff is moving forward on this, and we will consider a purchase from our contract with New Flyer. We also discussed changes to the New York State open meetings law contained in the state budget. The changes require board members to be available in person for board and committee meetings or establish a written policy regarding remote video attendance. This requires having CDTA adopt a clearer policy and specific procedures about our open meeting process. Staff is working on this for committee and board review and adoption at a future meeting. Carm presented a review of the company work plan for the last 12 months with lots of accomplishments and advancements during the year, and you'll be hearing more about this as we move forward. The next committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 15th at 9:15 a.m. Via Microsoft Teams and here at 85 Waterville Avenue. Any questions about the Board Operations Committee?
Is that an open meeting?
It is. All the committee meetings are open to the
Yeah.
public.
Well, yes, but this will really impact the board meeting.
Correct.
More so than anything else. And the curve, the twist is, Dave Stackrow can attend the meeting via Zoom or Microsoft Teams from his office in Troy, so long as his office is open to the public. That's asking a lot for Dave Stackrow to make his office open to the public. So they're making it sound like it's open, but it's very restrictive. So we'll have for next month a policy for the board to consider how we want to run our meetings.
Oh, you were asking. Is that what you were asking, or was it board operations you were asking whether it was open?
Well, board operations, which is the same thing, right?
Well, they're all open to the public.
Yes.
But this is really going to impact.
Okay.
Good. So we'll move on to the Performance Monitoring Audit Committee. Denise Figueroa.
Thank you. The committee met on May 18th here at 85 Waterville Avenue and on Microsoft Teams. And our first item is audit committee report. We have approval of the fiscal year 2022 audit draft to discuss. Seth Pinard and Liz Kraus from Lumsden and McCormick, our external auditors, presented the draft fiscal year 2022 year-end audit. We received a clean opinion with no findings or weaknesses. Lumsden reviewed their audit process and approach along with required communications and the balance sheet. The audit presentation is included in your packets, and at this time we need a motion to approve the draft fiscal year 2022 financial statements and compliance summary prepared by Lumsden and McCormick.
So moved.
Second. Jackie, any questions about the audit? Spent a little bit of time talking about it. Very thorough.
Very thorough. Yes, very thorough.
Yeah, just want to
Very
mention,
long.
and several board members had one-on-one conversations
Yes.
with Seth and Donna, or some combination thereof. So, as always, I think we put a nice wrap on it. But, hats off to the people in finance who, you haven't seen the second floor. It's in complete disarray, and to do the audit, luckily we have remote capability now. It worked out pretty well. The organization is in pretty good shape.
And the audit gets submitted to the authority's budget office and posted on the authority's website.
All of the above.
Yeah.
And is used, for example, we talked about borrowing.
Yep.
Banks want to see that.
Absolutely, they want to see it.
Luckily we're going to be in a solid position. As Mike is already talking to banks, lenders, I should say.
Anything else on the audit? Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 21 adopting the audit, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution's carried.
Okay, next we had 3 consent agenda items. The first one is approval of a contract for sand and gravel cleaning services. Our contract for the cleaning of our sand and gravel separators in our garages is expiring and a new contract is required. An invitation for bids was issued and one bid was received from Precision Industrial Maintenance. Staff recommends Precision Industrial, a new vendor for us, and references were all positive. We need a motion to approve a 3-year contract with 2 one-year options to Precision Industrial Maintenance of Schenectady for up to $796,550. I'll make that motion.
Okay, can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions about sanding gravel removal? Good business in Schenectady,
Yeah.
Precision Industrial Maintenance. Metroplex worked with them many times.
I was
Very
gonna
good.
Say the same thing. You know, I think it'll be good.
I have no opinion.
All those in favor of the resolution, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The resolution is carried.
And everybody knows what this is, right? It's a little known part of our business. It's the drains out back, that separate the sand and gravel. If anybody wants a tour, just let us know. Show you how these work.
I didn't know we were working that much with sand and gravel, so it was news to me. So,
Yeah, I think it's mistyped.
But it's an environmental concern.
right,
Yes.
exactly.
That's what people should understand.
Sand and gravel, I don't know if it's gravel.
Other stuff. Huh? All right. Stuff. Our next item is approval of a contract for trash and recycling services. We're on a roll here. Our contract for trash and recycling services is expiring and a new contract is required. Another invitation for bids was issued and 3 bids. 1 bid was non-responsive and the lowest bid was from County Waste and Recycling Services. Staff recommends award to County Waste, our incumbent, and we've been satisfied with their performance in the past. We need a motion to approve the 3-year contract with 2 one-year options to County Waste and Recycling Services of Clifton Park for an amount up to $760,140.
I'll make that motion.
Dave,
A second.
second. Thank you, Jackie. Any questions or comments on trash removal services?
I just have, what's bid deemed non-responsive? Just out of curiosity, what's that mean? It's a,
Stacy, early on, it probably, in the review of the bid, there was something about it that sort
They
of
want,
kicked
I
it out.
believe she said they wanted to negotiate
Yeah,
some of
they
made
the
changes, yeah.
Yeah.
particulars of it.
Good memory. Denise.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't do that off the get-go.
goes right.
Does this cover all of our facilities?
Yes, it does, Georgie.
And who removes it from the shelters?
You're almost reading my mind. I was thinking about whether or not to make a comment. So we remove the trash and debris from shelters and the surrounding area. We bring it back here, and then County Waste picks it up. We were joking, Jeremy, Chris, and I, about how much of our removal is trash that we bring in from city streets. We could probably come up with an estimate, but a good deal of our trash we pick up somewhere else, bring it back here, and then it's picked up.
How labor intensive is that, Carm? I mean,
Very.
is that a once a week pickup? Is it
No,
once a week? It's-
every day. Every day, BRT stops and major stops are canvassed, and then there's a schedule for lighter volume locations. But it also includes park and ride lots. It includes, for example, the mobility hub in Schenectady will be a hot topic. So our people are at sites. Not a day goes by where I don't see a truck and a CDK employee somewhere. Lots. We remove lots of
Labor,
trash.
lots of labor.
But it certainly presents a lot of goodwill to the people and to the, especially the officials of the
Municipalities, yeah.
city and,
In my almost 13 years now, it's something that we've moved up on the ladder because it's hard to talk about being a good neighbor and a partner if you're not going to keep your areas clean. The age-old argument is how much of that is our customers who generate that. It's not worth arguing. And Pat's got firsthand experience. We pull it.
Sometimes the bid like the bid in Albany and stuff would work with you.
We do.
They go in and out of the shelters. And I think there was bids where we would take the garbage, but they would clean up. Because
Still happens,
sometimes it's twice a day.
I would imagine.
but this also shows, the economic spin-off benefit of the company, the CDTA, all these contracts that are approved by the board, this is money that we spend locally. So, we're, in addition to be a major employer, we spend a lot of money and keep a lot of businesses healthy, which we should.
I can imagine what that barrel next to the Burger King must look like.
Oh, boy.
Any other comments about this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
I,
opposed? The resolution is approved.
Okay, our last consent agenda item was approval of a contract for the BRT expansion study. An RFP was issued to evaluate additional BRT options as we wind down construction of our third BRT line. 4 firms submitted proposals. A team of CDTA and CDTC staff evaluated proposals and recommends FHI Studios. We need a motion to award a 3-year contract with 2 one-year options to FHI Studios of Hartford, Connecticut for an amount of $316,021. I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Any comments, questions about this? Interesting proposal study to be done.
Had a long discussion about this in planning. We're actually pleased to have a new set of eyes and a new firm take a look at this, and this is really to help us chart the course for what the future might be with BRT. Have we exhausted the corridors? Are there other corridors where we ought to be thinking about this? Is there a product maybe BRT plus, BRT minus, BRT light? So we're excited about working with this company. It seemed really good.
Anything else? All those in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The resolution is approved.
Okay,
I'll
next we have
abstain
a,
from that vote.
sorry?
I'll abstain from that vote. I recused myself.
Okay. Thank you, Georgie.
Next items, we had our administrative discussion items, and the first was risk management and workers' compensation quarterly reports. Amanda Avery provided a quarterly review on the adequacy of the risk management and workers' compensation self-insurance account. And the committee has determined that both accounts are adequate at this time. I don't know if there are any questions on that. Amanda's away. Okay. In Aruba, yes. Next item was the monthly management report from Mike Collins, who discussed the financial monthly management report. The MRT remains strong into the new fiscal year with over 30% over budget. Customer fares are 4% over budget, and the Rensselaer Rail Station is 49% over budget. So we're seeing a lot of uptick there in terms of usage. Wages are under budget by 10% because of the timing of the Montgomery County service. So that will increase as the year goes by, it'll level out. Workers' compensation is under budget due to a large claim recovery, and the parts line is over budget because of a few major component failures. We are in a good financial position to start off the year, and we will make a budget adjustment in the next few months due to the changes in operating assistance that happened after we approved the budget. So, any questions on that? Mostly for Mike. No questions? Okay, we're in good shape after the first month, right? Our monthly non-financial report was provided by Curtis Designee. Our fixed route ridership is up 22% versus the same time last year. Star ridership is up 20%. Fixed route on-time performance is 77%, and Star on-time performance is 75%. We missed 206 trips and expect higher than normal missed trips for the foreseeable future due to the manpower challenges. Preventable accidents were at 22 and non-preventable accidents were at 15. Any questions on that for Chris? Or Arm?
A manpower question for Kelly. Are we getting a lot of applications?
We're seeing an increase in applications because we're doing a lot more advertising now. We're out in the communities a lot more now, trying to generate interest, and we've changed up our advertising to highlight some of the new things that we're doing with the attendance bonus and our new rates and things like that. So I would say they're increasing. The toughest thing is just, we have a lot of qualifications for the jobs. So, if you get 10 people in, 2 of them might end up being qualified by the end. So, for a variety of reasons. So, but we're out and about.
As we've discussed, it's not easy. If that were the only challenge, I'd say we're meeting it and we're ahead of the game. We're getting people. It's harder. It's the retention issue that is more troubling. People, why they leave, why they left. Sometimes it's just not clear. I was looking at a list of people who left in the last couple of weeks. A couple of just no real reason, but they're choosing their happiness elsewhere.
Is it a short turnover? I mean, 2 years and they said,
It's all over.
I've had enough of
It's
this.
all over, Joe. I wish we do have some issues in the first 6 months. That's the adjustment. But 2 years, 5 years, sometimes even more than 5 years. That doesn't make any sense to us.
Yeah.
But
Although some places now, they're just buying people.
Yeah.
Like we've lost some people to some ridiculous rates that, what are you gonna do? Because everybody's scrambling.
and as we've discussed, we've got all kinds of new programs, and it's to the point where we've got to be careful because we've got to be able to measure this and say this is working, that's not working. But, we, like everyone, we've hesitated the kitchen sink, but we're pretty close. That's why the kitchen sink is a problem. We're getting people. I talked to Kelly's people. I talked to Jessica today. There's 13 people or I can't remember on her list that are sort of pre-qualified. That would be the next class. It's keeping people.
Yeah,
And that's, you hear that everywhere.
the first 3 years, you put so much, you invest so much in a new employee, and it's a value you don't see in your pocket.
Yep. And sweat equity.
Yeah.
And guys and gals are working their tail off to get this done. And to see people leave, it's disheartening. But we're all in the same boat. We pick up our head and we'll get it done.
That's what we've come to expect. Thank you.
We're trying.
Question,
Yes, sir.
on the requirements that Kelly mentioned, have we looked at whether those are things we absolutely have to have? Or would relief in any of those, if it was even possible, make a difference?
The one area that would help a lot, and I know we were very excited that now we're able to do the road tests internally through DMV, that they had made that change. Getting the permit is still a real challenge. It's 3 tests, one of which really doesn't make sense for bus operators. It's about air brakes, and a lot of them have a tough time with that.
We're working on that.
Yeah, to combat that, we've created a study class now. So once we interview people, if they need to take the permit test, now our safety department has created a study class. Every Wednesday, we invite our applicants to come to that study class, and they go through all the material for the permit. And then, and now we're incentivizing people to go get the permit. So we're even, helping them get the permit on the front end. It's a lot of material, and for some people, it's a little overwhelming, I think. So we're trying to help them through that.
Okay.
So if we can get that done front end, then the training program actually becomes a lot easier on the back end, because then we're just training them on the customer service and what happens with us now is, let's say we have a class of 10, you may have 6 who have a CDL and 4 who don't. And we're going through this process as they're training. It would make things a lot easier, so Kelly's right, I think we can get that done. And we lobbied the governor's office to be able to be involved in the testing, that was successful. Now we're lobbying to eliminate the third part, which, why do you have to know what air brakes are? That's meant for truckers, not bus operators.
Is that a federal requirement, or is there a state? I guess.
I believe the air brake is for everyone, so I would say that's federal. I don't think it's just New York State.
I think we can get relief through New York State. I think. But it's, our driver, if there's an air brake problem, they call for help. If there's any problem, they call for help. Drivers don't
Yeah, it's not like you expect the driver to get out and
No.
start working on the compressor or something.
Exactly.
Just-
Makes no sense.
Any other questions for Denise?
Okay, then that concludes my report. Our next meeting is June 22nd, perhaps 110 Waterville Avenue, and definitely Microsoft Teams.
Thank you, Denise. Next committee report is from Jackie Falatico, Community and Stakeholder Relations.
Thank you. We had 2 administrative discussion items on the agenda. The first was the fiscal year 2023 marketing plan. John Scherzer summarized the plan for CDTA's brand reputation and awareness. The goal for this year is to package mobility services, how we will continue to grow our customer base, and the ongoing efforts to recruit and retain a strong workforce, which I feel like that's all we talk about now. We are looking forward to the new marketing assets and how that improves our brand moving forward. The second, Jamie Caslow summarized the monthly media relations community engagement report. We had a very busy month. CDTA earned 25 media placements in television, newspaper, and radio. Stories focused on our expansion into Montgomery County, the new mobility hub plan for downtown Schenectady, Earth Day activities, and the return of the nature bus. CDTA once again provided Tulip Festival transportation to help with the influx of visitors to Washington Park. And on 518 day, CDTA provided buses for 3 Stuff the Bus locations. Baby goods were collected for families in need. On May 19th, staff held a successful career fair on property where prospective employees participated in on-the-spot interviews, test drove a bus, and toured the Albany facility. Finally, Jamie outlined upcoming events, which include the launch of Scoot and Drive. Scoot will roll out to the Capital Region in June, and Drive will follow shortly thereafter. That concludes my report, unless anyone has any questions. Okay, the next meeting of the committee will be held on Thursday, June 23rd at 11:15 a.m. via Microsoft Teams and either here or there on Waterville Avenue.
Thank you.
Somewhere on Waterville.
Yeah.
Just right in the middle of the road.
Right. Parking lot. Yeah,
Outdoors.
Hands and
yeah.
hearts.
Weather permitting, yeah.
Next up is Mike Rochelle with the Strategic and Operational Planning Committee report.
All right, thanks, Jamie. The committee met last Thursday here at 85 Waterville Ave via Microsoft Teams. We also had 2 administrative discussion items, the first being the spring and summer service adjustments. Ross Farrell gave an update on upcoming service adjustments. Every 3 to 5 months, we implement service changes to improve operations, time performance, and better align service with ridership demand. We see most significant adjustment to our route network in the summer months when schools and universities are not in session and while new connections are provided to seasonal events and attractions. This year, these changes will include moving to summer schedules for UAlbany, RTI, Skidmore, and the Nature Bus. We will also start the Capital City Trolley and Capital Tour Trolley. The June pick will include adjustments to the 22, 87, 224 OGS Park and Ride lot service and the Blue Line. We will also suspend school and middle school services during the summer break. Our second item was the Gateway Mobility Hub. Ross Farrell and Chris Desney gave an update on the Gateway Mobility Hub. We reviewed what a mobility hub is and why they are important. Gateway Plaza in Schenectady is a prime location for such a hub, and it demonstrates very high ridership. Is served by BRT and 10 local routes, has intercity bus service, and is on a site by partners of CDTA. In cooperation with Schenectady Metroplex and the city of Schenectady, we will construct a new queue jump lane, replace the existing concrete bus bays, add new bus bays, add an operator bathroom, provide drive-through and cycle spaces, EV charging spaces, and a heated bus shelter. We will go out to bid later this month or early June, looking for a board recommendation possibly in August. Construction hopefully to begin in the fall with a goal for completion possibly in the summer of 2023. So that concludes my report unless there's any other questions or comments.
I probably should have asked Jackie this. Is the nature bus free?
Yes. Yes.
And you called CDTA to schedule something, is that right?
No, it's a route, downtown Albany,
Oh,
ends up in the hill towns.
it's every week or whatever it may be.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday
It's very
through.
popular with a core group of people who, the intent here is to bring inner city people out to different Albany County things.
And they'll go to whatever, the Pine Bush and stop for 20 minutes or something like that?
It'll bring you there for the day, so you go to Thatcher Park, you can pick it up at a few designated times, go out to Thatcher Park, and then there's return trips. But it's Thatcher Park, Pine Hollow Arboretum, there's quite a few more in Albany County, yeah.
If you go to the website, there's a link to the nature bus schedule. It's a schedule, couple of schedule.
People have asked me and I just don't know.
Starts this Saturday.
When in doubt, send them to the website. 99.9% of the time, you won't be disappointed. Right. Every now and then we miss it, not usually.
I'd rather be like you and know it when they ask me the question. Well, not that I make the money you make, but.
You got me again.
All right, well, with that, we'll move on to the chief executive officer.
Yeah, I have one question. I had a thought about possible additional seasonal service to consider, which would be Albany to SPAC, maybe using the Northway buses. To get there now, I would have to go to Schenectady and catch the Schenectady to Saratoga, and it's 2 hours each way, which is prohibitive. I think there may be some people in Albany who would like to go to some programs at SPAC.
Mark, duly noted, we are having discussions with the people at SPAC. They are one of our partners. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but John Scherzer can add that to the. John's given us a so-so reception from the partnership, but we'll look at it again. I understand the board.
We had tried that before. What were the hiccups though? It didn't work, but.
Yeah,
It's
it
a long
was a
one.
different service, Dave. We did a trolley connection up in Saratoga. It didn't leave the city limits, so it was moving people back and forth. And what didn't work at the time was there's really only two ways in and out: Route 50 and coming off of 9. And we were stuck in the same circumstances that most of the other event attendees were. So Mark's request is a different thing altogether, but certainly something we can continue to try to navigate and kind of make more efficient.
I think Dave's going beyond your tenure, John. He's going
even further
in Carmen Dave land.
Going back to Herb Chesbro.
Yeah,
SPAC
we've
days.
done this with Herb Chesbro. That's how far back it goes. But the issue was we get up the Northway in 45 minutes, and then we're stuck in traffic for another half an hour. And
That's what I
the rest of the
remember, people having a hard time getting picked up.
people are saying,
Right, it's late getting back.
they don't get back till 1 in the morning. And so I really want to do this, but we'll it's on the radar screen.
Yeah, on the weekends, there's daytime programs.
Yep. Good point. Okay, we'll look at it.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to earn some of that money that Joe talked about. So we're shifting now from advocacy to action. A lot of the things that we have, advocated for, now we have to do. So it's time to implement, sort of put our money where our mouth is or was. Montgomery County, electric buses, in fact, a couple were delivered this week, so very soon we'll have 8. We'll go from 4 to 8. More bikes than ever before. Scooters are becoming solidified, not just a pilot. And then sometime this summer, we'll get the car share program rolling. So everything that we've talked about, now we'll move to action. And it's great. It's a great feeling to be in that position, to expand. I think I mentioned I visited with Warren County supervisors yesterday and was extremely surprised at the number of people in attendance and the reception. So there may be another expansion in our future. That makes a lot of sense. That one just is almost too logical for anyone to not comprehend. But the reception was extremely positive.
Meet Lake George in one?
Yeah, Glens Falls mainly with connections to Lake George.
Are they doing the trolley again?
They're doing the trolley. They operate that very successful seasonal trolley, and we are helping them again with manpower, people power, which is interesting. We have our own people power issues. I'm trying not to say manpower, but people power doesn't sound right.
Do we have bikes in Lake George?
We have bikes in Lake George and in Glens Falls, so we've been inching into the service district. As you know, Glens Falls is a municipally run system, which is not sustainable. Cities and towns don't want to run their own transit system any longer. Some issues to get through, but this is totally different than Montgomery County, where we're starting from scratch. Here we would basically build on an existing well-run system, very well run, well thought out. They know what they're doing. It wouldn't be a whole lot for us to change. But Film at 11 will continue to update you on that.
How's the electric buses going to work with the 8 of them? Is there enough for the infrastructure to charge?
We have enough
Keep them on the
infrastructure right now, but that's the rabbit hole again that Chris is we're going to have a series of discussions about this in our facilities. But going from 4 to 8 won't be that big a deal, but that's about it. We're close to the limit with what we have in place, and that's a hour-long discussion. But, the industry, our regulators, our oversight people, we have to all get on the same page, and right now we're not. Everyone thinks just buy 200 electric buses, your problem is solved. I wish it were that easy. The buses themselves, they're great. They operate wonderfully. There's some range issues, but that's not the issue. Infrastructure, cost, et cetera, et cetera. And, Dave and I have a favorite exchange, and it'll be happening pretty soon. Summer you'll have an hour or two where the power goes out, and inevitably I'll look down, I'll get a text from my buddy Dave Stackrow, hey, how are our electric buses doing? And we haven't even thought about how that would, on a larger scale, how that would work. So lots of issues. So I expected, personally, I don't know about anyone else, I expected spring and summer to be a period where we would be recovering from COVID-19, we putting masks away, putting meeting requirements behind us. Just hasn't happened. In fact, I looked May, so to date is our second highest month as far as number of infections. And again, they're not as serious. None of our people seem to have been seriously ill, but they're out of work for a week. At minimum, they're out of work for a week. So all of the issues that have followed us for the last 2.5 years are back, and the manpower, the people power issue coupled with the COVID issues, just it's got to be a better way. But it's been very difficult. It's been a very difficult month, and we're not through the month yet. We got a couple that we haven't even reported to you yet. So strap it on and just keep plugging like everyone else. I titled in my report, "What a Welcome." It's the only way to describe the reception in Montgomery County. It was close to overwhelming. The number of people, the positivity, the can-do attitude. They are so thrilled, and I might be misreading it a little, but they are so thrilled that we're coming. And that reception has continued beyond the media event. Everything that we do and go to, and we're going to just about everything, has been wonderful. It's just nice to see where you're so wanted, I guess. And we had, Jamie was one of the speakers. We had, that was about as impressive a list of speakers, and everybody was so, positive, I guess is the word to describe it. So it's nice. How long it lasts, I don't know, but we'll take it while we have it. But it's just wonderful to see. Also pleased to tell you that we do have in hand a signed agreement with the Amsterdam City School District for a universal access account. So we know on day one we'll have several hundred riders. Doesn't get better than that. And we'll be able to clearly show, one of the benefits that we can bring to the community. And we have others under consideration. St. Mary's and a few other people, John Scherzer and his staff are working on that. So before we even start service, we'll have a few universal access agreements in place. So it's coming together. It's the people power thing is going to be an issue, no doubt about that. The remote sort of operation, a little bit away from the mothership, is going to be a little bit of an issue. But those are solvable. We talked about the seasonal services, the adds, the subtract. As we have spiked, with school district universal access agreements, the summer will be a little bit of a break period for us. The number of operators needed on a typical summer day will be a heck of a lot less than today and September. I think our task is not to get caught off guard and to think that good period is what's going to happen in September. It would be more of a tsunami in September. We got everything back, and not everything. We're looking at ways to reconstruct some of this stuff, but to put things back and then build on that. So summer will be good. That's a good thing. Jackie talked a little bit about the report that John and Jamie handled. Our other mobility projects. 500 bikes in cycle, 100 e-bikes coming later this summer, scooters and trolleys and everything in between. This nature bus has kind of a life of its own. It's popular to people. They just want to be part of it. And we have a lot of partners in that. We don't do that alone. A lot of partners in the nature bus that ask for it and step forward to help us. So that's a good thing. On the construction front, after what seems to be 2 or 3 years of constant activity, the end is in sight. And we did a lot, and we should probably at some point, sort of list this stuff. It started with the Boakland building. We kind of all got chuckles out of that, but we took that down and created a parking lot that allowed for everything to happen out back. The garage extension is done. Bus washers, I was saying it's 25 years. I actually went back and did some research. It's more like 35 years since we replaced the bus washers out back. They're brand new and just about ready for operation. We now have, Lance was with our articulated bus sales person from Blue Flyer yesterday, and we were laughing about the last several years, the articulated bus maintenance up on temporary lifts. Now we have 3 designated spaces. So all of that is just about done. Troy Garage is just about done. The Newson second floor project is, I don't know, 60% done. But it's been a haul for us couple of years. Thanks to everybody for being patient. I'm probably the least of them. Just ignore me. But it's dirt and dust and grime and moving, and you're not here today, you're over there. It's inconvenient. It's not insurmountable. But at some point, we'll put it all on one page. Maybe turn one of our meetings into a tour and just say, this is what used to be here, and that's what's here now. I want to get the retirees back. I'm hoping that we can have the retiree lunch here at CDTA. I think a lot of our retirees will get quite the kick out of what we've done. We've created a campus. You see some of the signage now. We've got more directional wayfinding signage coming. It's just starting to look like it is thought out. Sometimes it's hard to convince yourself when you're going through it. But, appreciate the support, appreciate everybody being, understanding and moving around.
A lot of demand for the retiree.
I know.
I know you're.
I go to a lot of wakes,
I get
and
land-based all the
God, they
time.
want this thing. We're gonna get it done. We want to be respectful of them too. You're in the middle of a pandemic. You don't want to, because I know them. They'll want to come, even if it might not be perfect. So we're thinking maybe we do it out. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right, ladies. So I'm thinking of cooking.
Yeah.
They're sick of hearing that from me. I'll cook. A couple of just notes from the activity report. Another thing that just came back on the 4th of May, we had, after 2 or 3 year hiatus, our exemplary lunch. We talked about attendance, we talked about the problems. Well, 71 people. This is all blue collar, 71 people achieved exemplary attendance, AKA perfect attendance. And this is just like when you're a kid in grammar school and you got perfect attendance and you're going home. We're so proud of that certificate, and you tried to get it 2 years in a row. So we had it over at the Desmond, and most of them could join us. And it's just great. 71 on 600 is pretty good.
It's hard too, because you got to punch in. You
got to punch
lie,
in.
you
You can't fake it. You can't fake it. So that's great. Also, a couple days later, Kelly, Mike, and I, and Dave Sacro were on a Zoom call to kick off at this racial equity commitment pilot program. We're one of, I think, more than 90 signatories, not 90 transit systems, because it's public and private sector companies that have committed to a 2-year pilot. This works perfectly for us because we've started to do work here with Consultant Tangible Development. And basically the group is together to share experiences, to talk to each other and work together. Hey, what are you doing out in Chicago? What are you doing in Albany? What are you doing in Rochester? Rochester is a signatory. Hats off to Dave. Dave's been working on this with APTA. He's co-chair. I just see him as chair of this. I thought you had a co. I'm sorry. I apologize. I
don't share, Carl. I was never good at that.
I thought the CEO in Tampa.
Well, so in true confession, Adelie LeGrand is the vice chair of the council and has done a lot more work than I have on getting to the point that we are at. So I will give her all of that credit.
Quote Mr. Sporano, she gets paid for that.
Well, that's true too.
I give you a little credit.
That's true.
But anyway, this is a long time in coming. I'm not sure everybody at APTA thought that this would happen, but it's happened. And I think for us, the beauty is we'll be able to learn, test things. Here's what we're doing, and it was good to know, Kelly and Mike, I don't know what you think. It's good to know we're not really far. For being really early in the process, we're not far behind.
If not a little ahead.
Yeah. What we're going to be doing, the first task for Tangible, just so you know, is an organizational assessment. And a couple of systems have already done this. And this is basically where they will come in. They're working with the Santa Research Institute, and they're going to, by talking with employees, give us an independent assessment of where our workforce thinks we are, rather than where we think we are, which will be very interesting. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, I guess, where we think we are on the journey, where they think we are. So it was good to know that some people have already done it. We might lean on them. And Tangible says they can get this done. This, in my mind, is going to be the most interesting thing to watch. But they, along with the Santa Research Institute, I think, are perfect players to get this done. So she left. I don't know if she. I just wanted to.
I was like, that's terrible timing.
I wanted to mention that a number of us were at the Marriott, the Wolf Road Marriott, last week for the 31st annual Women of Excellence. Well, you can clap for James back or something. The annual Women of Excellence Awards, That's hosted or organized by the Capital Region Chamber. It's a pretty big deal. They honored this year, it's always the same amount number, I'm not sure. 6 women in various categories. Jamie was honored or recognized as the Emerging Professional Award. And I joked with Jamie, "You're not emerging. I mean, you've emerged, but privately, I can tell you, the chamber reached out to me and said, hey, she really should be nominated. We were going to do it anyway because we nominated her last year for some reason. I couldn't believe it. 2 years ago. So, I mean, well deserved.
She hasn't emerged enough.
Yeah.
They're a little asleep there. But, I think we all agreed it was, well deserved. It was a great event. And the company that she's keeping is pretty high on this thing. It's great. So, hats off to her for that.
Congratulations.
There she is, there she is.
If you watch the videotape, you can see.
Yeah.
Nice things.
Well, you can probably strategically place those comments when I was walking out the door.
Give no credit.
Thank
Last but not least, this is a copy of our annual report. Really pleased that it's done, so quickly after the close of the fiscal year. It's for a lot of reasons. We lost our way is probably way an overstatement, but John Scherzer and his shop really committed to getting this really included in our branding work. Our annual report, the official report, is submitted through Paris. Everybody does that, and that's all the nitty-gritty numbers. You'll see basically a summary of our financial. John and his gang. We have a new addition. I think you've all met Sarah Seymour. She was the point person on this, but it's a nice, and we'll do our usual distribution. And as you remember, I always talk about the strategic plan led to the engagement of stewards at Universal Actions.
There's a new one compared to from the pool place. Is in there now that I see that in your house?
Yeah, they're in there.
Is it in there?
Latham Pool. Not a couple months goes by where we don't add Universal Access. It's out there. And people know about it.
Big operation.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Carl, for your report. Any board comments on any subject we haven't covered or even those that we have?
I just have to say something about the Amsterdam reception. Cold, it was rainy. It was an extraordinary, it was a real reception. Rochelle Hinchey came all the way from Ulster County, and when she talked, she knew what she was talking about. And the mayor said, I didn't realize it'd be this big a deal, or I would have bought coffee and donuts. So everybody was duly impressed.
Donuts, personally. Italian food.
It was very nice, man. Yes.
Yep.
Any other comments?
I have a couple of questions.
How about it?
I was looking at the performance report, and the one thing that struck me was other complaints are way up, and I'm wondering what the character of the other complaints is.
Hey, John, can you give a summary of what's other complaints? What's in there?
Yeah, Flex other or complaints that aren't specifically tied to the fixed route system. So it might be a bus stop circumstance. It might be some of the Flex. It might be a crossover where somebody maybe didn't explain a star concern or some other things like that. But basically, when you're doing that, it's outside of the regular fixed route system, but it could be, again, the built environment, could be related to the rail station. Maybe somebody had a poor experience with Uber or those types of things.
Got it. Thanks.
I'm just struck by the increase. It's like 80, and at the beginning of the graph, it was 10 or 9. So it's just, maybe people are just built up, pent up COVID frustration, but Yeah, it should be looked into. The other question is, I was very happy to see that, that we're having a consultant look at increasing bus rapid transit, and I'm wondering what routes are being looked at, if there's any idea yet.
Well, Mark, just a little caution there. No routes are being looked at. No corridors are being looked at. It's really an assessment of the whole system, and is anything out there that we ought to be considering? We're going in trying to go in with a fresh canvas, rather than to say we are going to expand.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I'm just happy to see that. So far it seems to be a success, and that it can be built on.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mark?
I don't think so.
Okay. Georgie, any comments?
Just, echoing what many of us have said over the last couple of years. I just continue to be so proud of everything that we've been doing, and the staff and the dedication to this company. It's astounding.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention, and I don't know, Dave, if you wanted to mention it either, the board seminar, the transit board member seminar is coming up in the end of July, and I guess the registration is open now. So it is in Salt Lake City, which I started to look at travel to. It's complicated from Albany, but at any rate, if any of the transit board members are interested, you should know that it is available.
Will it be available online, or that? No. Okay.
No.
We're back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, and just so you know where I really stand in the pecking order of APTA, I can't go because I'm on vacation that week, but they had asked if I would do a session. And I said, if they can beam me in, I will do a session. It's too cost prohibitive to beam me in so that I can do a session. So that's how valuable I am in APTA land.
So, wait a minute. If I gave you something like that on a CDTA issue, you would say you're full of beans.
Yeah.
I'm tired of arguing.
Another feeling, Dave. Listen, though, we appreciate it.
You were a big.
Apparently not.
We appreciate the board's flexibility and the board's vision, the board's, commitment. This is not easy. We ask you to do a lot. Some of the stuff we throw at you, from, gravel separators to trash to, multi-million-dollar bus purchases. Sometimes it doesn't all, you stick with us, and you learn the business, and you grow with us. So we appreciate that. It really is a team effort.
Or sometimes we just blindly follow the leader.
Never.
Well, thank you, everyone, for today's meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 29th at 12 noon, Microsoft Teams, somewhere on Waterloo Avenue. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Dave. We're adjourned until next month. Thank you, everyone.
I didn't know if you wanted to mention it. I'm not even sure I'm going to be going.